already toxic outside the Emirates, with some fans protesting and demonstrating against Arsene Wenger.
Wenger, we want you to go. You're killing our club. You're killing our club. Arsene Wenger.
And that was before the game even started. Arsenal had it all to do on the pitch against Bayern after that 5-1 defeat in Munich. Your commentators for this one, former Arsenal defender Martin Keown and Darren Fletcher.
Can the Gunners defy the odds and make Champions League history? The Bayern Munich team arrive here bang in form. This might be a present here for Arsenal. Theo Walcott couldn't quite get around Manuel Neuer.
Yeah, it's a great ball, you have to say, and Theo's got that pace. Just his first touch, maybe he's looking at the goalkeeper. It is a daunting, isn't it, task, trying to get past Neuer. I feel if his touch is better there, he's through on goal.
Xhaka. Alexis Sanchez. Looking to tee up Ramsey, and Giroud's in there. And it wasn't far away.
No, it's a good effort. Xhaka picking out Sanchez at the far post. The defending in the end, actually, from Hummels.
It's an Arsenal throw-in. There's Walcott. Still going here, Theo Walcott, supported by Giroud, but he doesn't need him! Arsenal get the first goal, and it's lashed in by Theo Walcott.
Wow, that was electric from Theo Walcott there. He just come alive. He's got no right to go through those players. I mean, that's a world-class goalkeeper at the end of this. Look at him, he just explodes into life, finds the gap, goes for the power. It's an electric finish. It's just the spark this game needed for Arsenal.
Thumping finish from Walcott. That's 16 goals this season. Wiggles away from Lewandowski and now tees up Walcott. Xabi Alonso in with a challenge. Referee says corner. Right in front of the additional assistant, who I think helped the referee out with that decision.
He did, he was shaking his head. The extra official straight away. It's just that little turn. Oh, he's caught him. Well, that's definitely a penalty for me. Looking at that the first time, just look, he just takes him out.
Ribery away from Mustafi. Robin makes a little dart inside, and now Robert Lewandowski has gone down, and Laurent Koscielny was behind in penalty. And a yellow card for Laurent Koscielny. Well, Arsenal didn't get one in the first half, but Bayern Munich have got one in the second.
Lewandowski there just runs back across him. He just lent on him. I don't think he can have any complaints there. He's the wrong side. And Lewandowski wants that out of his feet and to hit that. Wow.
A red card for Laurent Koscielny.
Wow, that seems harsh.
Arsene Wenger looks baffled by the decision to show him a red card. A yellow card was initially shown. Can David Ospina become the hero? Lewandowski against Ospina, and he scores just like he always does. That's 31 goals this season for Robert Lewandowski, and surely no way back now for Arsenal, who are destined to go out of the last 16 stage of the Champions League for the 7th year in a row.
Well, that's completely killed the tie now.
Well, regarding the red card for Koscielny, we're just waiting for confirmation as to whether he was shown a straight red card for the challenge or a red card on the back of the yellow for the challenge for something he said. And in the meantime, here's Robin. Robin's in, Robin scores, and that's it now. Arjen Robben, who started the ball rolling in Munich in the first leg, with a goal that seals Arsenal's fate in the Champions League this year.
And he just loves playing against Arsenal, doesn't he, Robin? Sanchez there, just putting it into his path. Robin does the rest and tucks it in. Simple for him.
So let's just show you through the red card process for Laurent Koscielny. We're led to believe that the extra official has upgraded it. There's the challenge. And there's the yellow card shown to Koscielny by the referee, which then after consultation is changed to a red.
Well, I think that's ridiculous.
Xhaka's late on Rafinha. Referee says carry on because Bayern Munich have got 3-on-1. Douglas Costa, Arsenal looking to get back. Still Douglas Costa! What a finish that is! Didn't need the other two. Douglas Costa smashes home his 6th goal of the season.
Absolutely devastating Costa there. He's just waiting. Xhaka gives the ball away, gets himself booked for that one. The referee's just booked him. And Costa here now, he's just waiting for his chance. Wants to get into that little pocket just to come inside, sees the area that he wants to put it in, and he places it beautifully.
Here come Bayern Munich again. Arturo Vidal this time. So cheeky. So cheeky from Vidal. The calmness, the composure, and the little lift over the goalkeeper to make it 4-1 on the night to Bayern Munich.
Well, I think it's Mustafi who gives the ball away. We talked about Arsenal being professional, keeping the score down. This guy will score goals as well, Vidal. Look, Mustafi, it's just a sloppy ball, really. And he does the rest from there. Little flick, has that quality as well, just helps it over the keeper.
You wonder tonight, Martin, whether tonight's his last game in the Champions League with Arsenal.
People now calling for Wenger's head.
There's been no shortage of effort from Arsenal tonight. They'll rue the fact they didn't get the rub of the green in terms of the penalty in the first half and might well have made the most of other opportunities, but as you say, they've been so ruthless, and here they come again. It's Costa, and it's Vidal, and it's another one. It's 5 again. This time Arturo Vidal helps himself to 2 goals.
Well, we talk, they're punishing. You've got their foot on your head and they're not going to let go of you. Again, it's the running off the ball. Is he offside? For me there, he was off, but it wasn't the player, but he ultimately ends up scoring. So to say he's not active there, the initial ball he's not offside for, but he certainly ends up putting it in the back of the net. It's turned into an embarrassment tonight.
There's Alaba. And the full-time whistle. And embarrassment for Arsenal and Arsene Wenger in the Champions League. Eliminated for the 7th successive season at the last 16 stage. A shake of the hands with Carlo Ancelotti, but the Arsenal manager will look on and head for the dressing room knowing that his team have been absolutely ripped apart over 2 legs. Full-time tonight. 5-1 to Bayern Munich. It's finished 10-2 to the Germans on aggregate.
Arsene, that was a brutal night in every sense for you.
Yeah, because I think there are different aspects in this game that explain, of course, that we are out. But I feel we produced the game we wanted, and we're really unlucky tonight with some decision of the referees that are very difficult to understand. Because we are 1-0 up, there's a 100% penalty on Walcott. There's offside. Lewandowski's offside. There's no penalty. On top of that, you get a red card. Of course, that killed us, the game. And after that, it was very difficult for us to finish the game. But overall, it's difficult to understand what happened. But still, must say, my team has produced a huge effort tonight and played very well.
We saw how angry you were with the officials, and we share your bafflement. We couldn't understand how a yellow card for Koscielny became a red. So that was the turning point of the game for you today?
Yeah, of course. You're down to 10 men, you have to score 4 goals. It becomes in the head of the players impossible, you know. And I think what is terrible is offside, Lewandowski. And there's no penalty. On top of that, he gives a yellow card. On top of that, he gives after a red card. It's just not serious. When you see the importance of the games and you see an attitude like that, I'm absolutely revolted and sorry for people who come and pay a lot of money to watch this kind of games.
It's the officials have destroyed the match, and also because the end result, of course, is that you're out in the last 16, whether the scoreline tells the story of the match or not, which it must be even more hard to take.
Of course, but I felt we were in it, and you never know how Bayern would have reacted had we scored a second goal. And at the end it finishes like that. It's difficult to take, and of course it looks very bad and doesn't reflect the quality of our performance tonight.
So there's no question at all about the commitment or the performance of the players of tonight. It's merely a question of numbers and the fact that Bayern had that quality to punish you.
Yes, I think once it was 2-1 down, it was very difficult, and you have no chance to qualify anymore. But that's not the part of the game I would like to keep in my mind, because it's. I think the second part of the game has been spoiled by the referee.
And it all conspires, of course, to maintain that air of negativity around at the moment. There's a protest march before the game, and it doesn't reflect the mood of the performance until that red card. Is that correct?
No, not at all. I have nothing to add to that.
Does it change anything short term or long term? Where do you go from now? Next challenge?
Let's keep that spirit and play the next game.
Thank you, Arsene.
Thank you.
See a picture there of a sad-looking Arsene Wenger, and I suppose the headlines are going to mount, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And listen, the last 10 years, in terms of league trophies, the Champions League has been a disappointing period for Arsenal and Arsene Wenger. And it'd be disappointing, really, to see him go out on this note, considering what he's brought not only to Arsenal Football Club, but to English football in general. In bringing it forward in terms of sports science, etc., winning at the beginning, the players that he's brought to this league. But at this moment in time, things just aren't going well. They're not going right, and he doesn't seem to be able to find the answer at the moment.
Do you think the game's perhaps moved on, it's evolved, and he's stuck in his old ways?
Maybe, and that's what he's accused of. And sometimes the signings, a lot of them are similar. It's questioned the calibre of the mentality of the players that he signs. Everybody's always sort of on about the leaders that Arsenal need, and I think that's plain to see. I think even in a game like today, when it's 7-8, you're thinking to yourself on the pitch, you want some people to be able to recognise and say, listen, let's just make sure this isn't too embarrassing. But that's not happened. So it will land at Arsene Wenger's doorstep in respect of the players that have come. But I still believe that the players from Man that's had so much faith in them have let him down, like, continually.
But what you see here, though, there's a genuine golfing class. Yeah. The level of the performers here, you're looking at one team, you can see that the level is way up here, and the Arsenal team is down here.
That is a starting point. Bayern are at a complete different level.
Well, they are an excellent side.
So then take into account you play with one less player. At some point you need to find a way. Everybody's been there as a player. You've got to find a way to manage a game. And that game was getting out of hand.
Well, there was no way once they went to 10 players they could possibly turn it around.
But then they kept trying to play out from the back, and Bayern picked them off. And Bayern, I think, were happy with, what was it, 3-1. But the last two goals were almost gifted.
Well, he made 3 substitutes at 2-1, didn't he?
And they were more attacking sides, weren't it? Perez and Ozil. He was looking for maybe to inspire the crowd. I don't know, but at that point the game was over.
Yeah, a lot of people will talk about the referee and the influence he made, because obviously the decision at 1-1 is vital. He seemed to change his mind first and foremost. Whether it's a penalty or not, first he gives him a yellow card. In the modern game, obviously, with the new law about double, treble jeopardy and etc., where it's got to be a really, like a hat from behind or a handball on the line nowadays to give a red card. Should that have warranted one?
I don't think that's a red card. Never. I think that Arsene Wenger has every right to be frustrated with that decision, because that completely changed the game. I think he gets his arm across him, but I think a yellow would have been perfect, and that changed the game.
He almost pushes off of Koscielny there.
Yeah.
He kind of like, it promotes the actual the contact by pushing off of him, Lewandowski. I know that he's kind of impeded him a bit because he's on the wrong side, but like it did seem for him to get a red card majorly harsh for me, and it changed. It did change the game.
The referee Tados Sideropoulos, that's his first knockout game in the Champions League.
Probably be his last as well, I'm sure.
Well,
at the moment, after today's performance.
OK, well, Lewandowski obviously knocked it in from the spot.
The super penalty doesn't take his eye off of David Ospina. And it's a game that we've seen. He could have had 3 or 4 goals in this game.
Should have, yeah.
Yeah,
Lewandowski.
And just like the first leg, Ian Robin got in on the act.
Well, it's like Owen said there, you know, trying to play out. I think that you've just got to get the ball as far away from your goal as you possibly can and try and defend in numbers. It didn't happen, and you see it was quite easy for them in the end to just pick Arsenal off then.
At this point, they give them the goals.
Yeah.
But Bayern don't have to really work too hard to get these goals here that are coming up now, and it's just that's when you need the maturity and the experience and the personalities for people to really talk to the teammates and say, listen, we're getting embarrassed now, let's calm ourselves down here.
Real, there was a lot of positives, I thought, for Arsenal, but at some point, this result, look at this is 3v1. You know,
Well, this is like schoolboy stuff.
They're too open, and anyway, they get back in. There's no way Costas to go on his left foot, but at some point, you just need these players. Sometimes with Arsenal, you think when the ship's sinking, it sinks. Do you know what I mean? They never find a way to get it back on course, and that's something they need to address, because that game in Munich, you know, Liverpool, and then today, the one in Chelsea early in the season.
Yeah, but, that comes from guidance from above.
That comes
in terms
from
of
everyone,
and that comes from the players having the personality to be able to deal with these situations.
But the guy that's usually responsible for that is ultimately, isn't he, is the manager.
Is the manager. And like you say, we saw he put on at the death when, you know, it's getting embarrassing. You know, in respects of the scoreline, what the scoreline could have been, you know, he's bringing on Ozil. You know,
audacious little finish there from
Ospina's played his last 2 games, Champions League. He's conceded 10 goals, and he's the best player over in Germany.
He was, definitely.
The Ox played pretty well.
Ox, I thought, was terrific today, and that's what I mean. There were positives, but how can they be so open, Arsenal, at this stage of the game?
What do you mean there's positives? You can't get a positive when you're going to beat 5-1.
They started the game. The attitude was spot on.
But you won't remember that. Are you going to remember that?
No, I'm not. But I'm saying
not that player.
The last 30 minutes, the ship just sank, no question. But the attitude was right. But you have to ask yourself, and I'm sure Arsene Wenger was asking these players, how can we start well, and the last 30 minutes we just disappear? They did it in Munich, they did it here, and if you want to compete against these teams, it can happen.
There's no way you're going to come out of a game like this and say there's going to be any positives at all to take from this game. Whether you're an individual, collectively, 10-2 over 2 legs is
I'm not saying it's positive. I'm saying they started the game in the right way, and that's what you wanted to see. And
up until the I think the penalty,
the red card,
I think
the game was different.
There was a different attitude, different drive about them, which was quite encouraging to see.
But real, even then, you would have said in that game, you would have said, we got one less, keep it tight, Owen, stay in front of me.
Well, you don't want to be embarrassed, do you?
No, exactly.
For when you get the red card, I'd have said, I'll take what it is now. I'll take that scoreline, what it was.
And everybody would have defended in your own half. You would have lumped it forward and hoped for 1v1s. With
you know Arsene Wenger well. He's seemed a little bit not quite himself lately, a little bit kind of sad in a way, even worse now. What do you expect him to do? How can he lift his players?
Well, I don't know, and that's the problem I think he has. And I've seen Arsene Wenger like the last month feeling like that, and then, you know, you see him again the other day against Liverpool, and it went 2-0 down. His hands through his head, he doesn't know what to do, and then, you know, he looks like a lost man, and you know, you lose against Bayern Munich like you did, and you're trying to find something the second game, and it goes against you. It just seems to be just mounting up, and then you've got the fans, the protests before the game, whatever it was. I'm sure not all Arsenal fans feel like that, but it's just it's imploding, isn't it?
Tough times at this football club. Still, well, he's obviously very displeased by some of the referee's decisions, which is understandable. But at the same time, is he being deluded there about his team's performance with 10 men?
Well, I think he's spot on in the sense the referee had a nightmare, which he did, and he actually decided the game in many aspects. But Bayern are far better than Arsenal. But I think at some point they have to realise they have to defend better. You know, they're too open. The last 3 goals are not what Arsenal should concede at this level. And I think Arsenal need to do a better job of managing games at the end, because sometimes when the ship's sinking, it just sinks.
And the other thing, of course, is that fans will leave the stadium, and they left in their droves a long time before the final whistle, a lot of them. And fans remember the end of games. They don't necessarily remember the start.
Yeah, because and then when you consider that, yes, it's 5-1 again, it's 10-2, and it does look pretty bad. But I think up to a point that the boys were putting in quite a good...
they played well in the first half.
They played well in the first half, but... Like I say, at some stage, the quality of Bayern Munich was going to tell. You'd like to, you know, I personally believe, like in the first half, if all the stars aligned, you know, Theo, he goes through the second time, he has another go. Maybe if he crosses that, you get 2-0. If they get the penalty, you get 3. It's all, of course, it's all hypothetical now, and you know, if the stars align for Arsenal, like I say, but it was always an uphill task. And once they went down to 10 minutes, it was
Is using the referee just an excuse, or?
No, he's got valid points there, but I just think that the first half performance, it was good. There was on the front foot, but that's going to be a distant memory for these players. You're not going to remember that. You're going to remember the end of the game, the result, the score on aggregate, and now it's up to this man, Arsene Wenger, to pick them players up. They've got a huge game at the weekend in the FA Cup. They've got to make sure that they're ready and that this game is out of their system as much as can be. And it is down to him. That's a manager's job. He's got to go and galvanise that dressing room now. But more importantly, again, tomorrow morning, when they're in that training ground, he's got to be able to go and put maybe some smiles back on them faces, make the place jovial, make it so it's not like a morgue, make sure there's some positivity in the training room.
It's been a beastly, what, 3 weeks or so?
Yeah. But I think he's sticking by those players. That interview alone is saying he believes the players started the game the right way. I think they did. I think they started the game in the right way, but kind of the wheels fell off. And once, it seems when it goes that direction...
They collapse too easily, that's the thing.
I think that's been the biggest issue. I think Wenger, even Mertesacker said yesterday in that press conference, they need to compete better. Towards the end of that game, the last 25 minutes, I think they need to compete more because they do all that hard work for 60 minutes. The referee has a nightmare, no question, has an impact on the game, but that doesn't stop you defending a bit deeper, maybe get some more leaders in the team. Bayern are stacked with leaders, Neuer, Alonso, Vidal, Robin, Ribéry. That wouldn't happen to Bayern. I know they're a different calibre, but also need to find a way, when they're not at their best, to get something out of games that that they're going in the wrong direction.
People have been saying that for a long time.
But again, if the manager can't do that, if he's not going to be able to galvanise them, who do you look at in that change room that you think can do that?
I don't think they have enough. They've got Koscielny. Today they had Koscielny, and they had Momrel, 31 years old. The rest of them were all mid-20s.
I suppose the other player is obviously Sanchez, and he was left out the weekend. How did you assess his kind of night?
Well, it was in and out. It was. He didn't really get going.
But he's a trier.
Because that's what you're going to get, and he's the person that, if you are going to get somebody who's going to inspire players with their performances, it's going to be him and what he does. But at the moment, he's up in the air.
I saw a difference in him today personally. I saw a frustrated figure. I saw somebody who he's waving his arms around a lot more than you ever see him do there, gesturing to other people, and I feel I don't think this guy's going to be here next season. I just really don't. After being made a sub in the biggest game of the season against Liverpool, I don't think he's going to accept that. I don't think that these guys have got different mentalities from different parts of the world, and I don't think he's going to sit there and say, you know what, this is for me. And the golfing class will just confirm to him that I don't look like I'm going to win trophies here right at this moment in time.
Arsenal looking ahead, Ian, I mean, they've got decisions to make. We've had these conversations, well, for quite some time, frequently, haven't they? But, what's your gut feeling? I mean, I think you said a couple of weeks ago that you thought perhaps Arsenal was going to call it a day.
But when you see him in his moments, when you see him contemplating, thinking, he does look like, he may have had enough. He's always quite defiant when he speaks. He's always still very supportive of the team, which I honestly can't understand when the team let him down so many times.
Surely Wenger can't take the stick for all of this. I think the club needs to take some responsibility
upstairs.
In terms of recruitment. Why does he get all the blame, by the way? The players are the ones on the pitch not doing the job.
Well, they say he's the very dominant figure at the club.
I'm sure he is. But how many people work at that football club? There's no way that when they're signing players, why do they keep signing the same player?
Well, I'll tell you what would be interesting to see if Arsene Wenger does go, is if Arsenal, when they're talking about he has got money to spend, is if another manager comes in and he instantly gets that. And then we'll find out if it was Arsene Wenger not wanting to spend it or if it was a club not giving it to him.
I think he needs help. He gets all the stick when it goes bad. When it goes well, the players get all the praise. But I think he needs help. He needs somebody to say, right, we need a Sol Campbell, we need a Martin Keown, we need a Patrick Vieira.
That goes down to one thing.
But that's going to come from him.
That comes from him, but that's also the calibre of player that he's signing. Bar, for me, Sanchez and... here and there.
At Bayern Munich, the manager doesn't sign players. The club sign players. The manager's just manages the team.
I think Arsenal's got the same.
Do you not think Arsene Wenger has the same?
I do, but I'm saying I think he needs help because I think he doesn't have those players anymore, and they keep signing.
But he's got to accept that he needs help.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they need to help him to see these players.
But the players that he's bought at the beginning of this season, they've not taken the club from last season's level another level.
That is my point. That's why, as a club, they need to say, we have this. Now we need. Petit, we need a Vieira, we need a Gilberto Silva. They don't have those players. They weren't out there today.
He might be the person who has the final word. If they're bringing players, the recruitment might be bringing the players, and he's saying, no, that's not my type of player.
I just saw him in an interview the other day. I think it was with Jake, actually, where he said, we've got to take Arsenal to the next level.
Yeah.
But at the moment, that next level appears to be down a level?
Well, at the moment, when you look at it, if everything's going to be then you look at everything. You look at Sanchez. Does he look like he's going to be here? So that's going to drop Arsenal a level in itself. Ozil, you're not sure what's happening with Ozil.
Are these really worrying times to be an Arsenal
Yes, it
supporter?
is. Yeah, because I think that what we got a glimpse of in the first half against Liverpool was Arsenal without those players, and it didn't look good. Because when he came on, we saw the difference.
And the reason why people we're having this conversation is because this is a great club.
That's what I was going to.
This club.
There is a ton of potential here. I believe
the stadium is fantastic. The
fans are amazing.
Here, the fans are good fans, and I just think that it's just a shame for
I
all
think they have a ton of
concerned.
potential here to build on something.
It's a really tough question for you.
Yeah.
Really tough question. I know it's difficult to answer, but do you kind of hope he calls it a day?
If it carries on like this, yeah, I do. I don't want him to be forced out with protests before and banners in the stadium, man. I still think what he's done is magnificent. And people say, yes, he built this club to what it is. And I would hate for it to get to that point. I wouldn't like it to be where he's almost hounded out of the place.
He's earned the right to leave on his own terms.
Absolutely.
I think.
If that's the case, yeah.
It's pretty unique for that, though. Any club in the world, really.
It is, yeah. But that's what happens,
Unique
I guess, at
situation.
20 years. He's the architect of this beautiful football club.
OK. Welcome back to Arsenal, where tonight, once again, the Gunners have been disarmed by Bayern Munich. The other game played this evening was in Italy, where the holders Real Madrid took a 3-1 first-leg lead to Napoli. Here's the best of the action from tonight's second leg with commentators Chris Sutton and Peter Drury.
Diawara. Mertens. Insigne. Clear of Pepe. Eric Hamsik gets a shot away. Rather too wide.
Just hurried into that shot. Yard also past the post. Had Navas scrambling though.
Koulibaly. Insigne! Well, that is the sort of distance from which he scored at the Bernabeu 3 weeks ago.
Just going wide. Navas taking no chances.
Led by Casemiro. What a wonderful ball that is, and what a super take from Gareth Bale. And shot. It's right into Pepe Reina's corridor.
Well, he's the outball at the moment, isn't he? The timing of his run is superb. Great take. Just there. When he shifts it back on his left foot, you fancy him to do a little bit better. Straight at Reina.
Koulibaly. Mertens. Hamsik. Dries Mertens scores! And Napoli launch the improbable.
Look at the reaction. It's game on. It's tie on. Brilliant goal. Terrific finish from a man in real form. What a spot from Hamsik.
Mertens, amongst others, said before this game, if we score first, they'll hear the crowd in Turin. Turin, do you hear us? Benzema. Modric. Real Madrid always trust themselves to score. Benzema, he's rolled it through for Ronaldo, who's hit the outside of the post, and Bale can keep it alive. And squeezes it right across the face, and Napoli are off the hook.
Well, you don't often say this with Cristiano Ronaldo, but what a miss.
Husay. Kayahon. Allen. He's squirted to Mertens, who has hit the post. That's how close. In a match, a tie of margins, ever decreasing margins.
How close can Mertens come there? It's more through luck than judgment. Navas isn't getting that. Inches away.
Marcelo. Leading clear of Kayahon. Steering it into space occupied by Karim Benzema, who riddled the netting from the outside.
It was a good spot from Marcelo, wasn't it? Outside of the left foot across the pitch. He was standing in an offside position. Should go across goal there. Never troubling Reina.
Koulibaly. Hamsik's giveaway to Ronaldo. And Kroos with the delivery, which is shifted behind his own goal by the retreating Husay.
Hamzik, arm in the air, apologetic, really poor pass, a blind pass, wasn't it? Husay did really well. It was a tantalising ball in. Toni Kroos. Benzema just behind him, took no chances.
Kroos with the corner in hostile territory. 1-1! Real Madrid score, because Real Madrid always score.
They most certainly do. I think it's Ramos with the header. Huge goal, huge relief, and he gets up superbly. Little bit of breathing space again for Real Madrid.
And once more, Napoli need 2. And 2 just to force extra time. Can't keep it from going behind for another corner.
Tracked back well, Ulan.
Kroos corner, another header, another goal! And it's Sergio Ramos again. The skipper has turned it round all by himself. And Real Madrid are headed towards the quarter-finals once more.
2 set pieces, 2 goals. And he just goes and attacks the ball again. Wants to make it his powerful header, takes a slight deflection. And that looks like tie over now, doesn't it?
Callejón. Mertens continued his run.
Well, Mertens is claiming for a penalty and claiming he was impeded. Reina does bring him down. It's a touch first.
His facial expression and fury. Mertens. Mertens has gone over. He's getting nothing. He's getting nothing, and that's 3 or 4 in a row that have really wound him up.
Well, there is a shove in the back. That should have been a penalty for me.
Rolled in here for Cristiano Ronaldo. Goalkeeper saves, followed up by Morata. And Real Madrid complete the job in style.
He's not a popular man in these parts. Morata, good run from Ronaldo, he's onside. Lovely weighted pass, left foot shot. I think Reina should do better with that. 3-1, Napoli haven't deserved this.
And so the champions roll on amid the frenzy and fury of a crazy Neapolitan night. Real Madrid win 3-1 on the night, 6-2 on aggregate. They head into a 7th straight quarter-final, and the duodecima draws closer.
Yes, Real Madrid on course through to the quarter-finals to be the first team to defend the Champions League trophy in the modern era, of course. And once again, Ramos chipping in. Apparently, they've taken the second goal off him. It's now an own goal. Yeah. Well, it seems a bit harsh for me, but he's on target. But boy, he's a presence in the box.
Well, that header was just brilliant. He got up there and directed it over there. It wasn't like he just got up. You see defenders go up and it just hits their end. It's on target. He actually directs it over there.
Scored some vital goals in his time there.
I wish I used to go up for corners and score like that. I didn't have that. He goes up there and says, "This is my ball. No matter where it is, I'm going to go up there and take it."
Well, he's obviously tougher than you.
Yeah, he maybe is. He didn't have the class, but but no, he goes up there and says, "This is my ball. I'm going to win it. I'm going to take it." And he's scored some vital goals over the years.
And could they be the first?
I think so.
Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Owen?
I think they're there. I think Bayern on the day looks scary. PSG surprised everyone with that Barca performance.
I fancy Real Madrid over Bayern.
Yeah, so do I.
I think I would.
So do I.
I don't have my Bayern hat on, but I take
I feel you have, to be honest. I don't fancy Arsenal. I haven't got my Arsenal hat on, that's for sure.
Not now. Leicester's still in.
Yeah, brilliant. Good luck with that.
Thanks a lot. Tomorrow night, Barcelona have to try and overturn a 4-goal deficit against PSG after they were thrashed out in Paris 3 weeks ago.
Well, here in Barcelona, the shockwaves of that 4-0 defeat to PSG reverberated in every corner of the Camp Nou. If the Catalans are to turn this tie around and reach their 10th consecutive quarter-final, they'll effectively be rewriting Champions League history. No side has ever progressed in Europe after losing 4-0 in their opening leg. Now, since then, the Barca boss, Luis Enrique, has announced his standing down at the end of the season. But far from darkening the mood, his side have scored 15 goals in their last 4 games, putting themselves firmly back in La Liga title race. At the press conference earlier, aside from the usual pre-match talk about how anything is possible in 90 minutes, you did get a sense from the manager as well as Luis Suarez, who also spoke, that this side really do believe they could just achieve mission impossible, although it is a very difficult task. But of course, if there's any side in the world capable of mounting the sort of epic comeback required here, you'd expect this Barcelona side to at least have a crack. Find out how they get on tomorrow night.
Yes, indeed, Reshman. They're some of the greatest European comebacks. And we were actually saying exactly the same thing here while we were watching that little bit of VT. The fact that if any team could possibly come back from that, it would be Barcelona. If the top three got buzzing up front, you never know.
Yeah, as long as they don't perform like they did in the last game when it was all anonymous. But these guys, if they get an early goal, I'm going to be sitting there rubbing my hands with the popcorn because it would be lovely to see. I want to see that kind of where Paris Saint-Germain get put under that pressure. How are they going to react? Because they look great in the last game. Can they finish it off? It's going to be a good game.
Rubbing your hands with popcorn. It's an interesting.
Together while throwing it in like that.
You have sweet and salty.
I like salty.
Exciting game ahead. Yes. If obviously it needs a good start from Barca. But
well, it does. But you could see that they've got the capability of just blitzing, and I feel that PSG could crack under that.
Yeah.
Can they give Enrique a send-off? You know, it'd be something special if he's leaving at the end of the season. I think they're going to get something. Barca
ain't going to win. No, they're not going through. Barca ain't going through.
Barca are going to go through.
Arsenal are out, but one of their players has stepped up to have a little word with us. Hector Bellerin is with Des.
Wow.
You're out of Europe, of course, now, so take us inside the dressing room. It's a real sense of immense disappointment tonight.
Yeah, as I said, me especially, I think I'm really hurt because you know, seeing the fans leaving the stadium so early. At the end of the day, we play for them and we want them to be happy and you know we want them to be behind us and you know it hurts to see them leave so early, and you know we just need to try and make them happy with the rest of our season. We know we got the capacity and the potential to do well. We got the players, we got everything. So we just need to you know. Think about every game the same way we started today, because we know if we play that kind of football we can be up there, and you know just say sorry to the fans because you know I think we need to be better than that.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Well spoken, but some of the fans are a bit more vociferous towards their club and in particular towards Arsene Wenger. This was prior to the game, and after the game they weren't that much happier, I rather doubt. And well, we don't really want to see it come to this.
No, I think
really.
I think that if they're going to start to direct their anger towards somebody, then it can't just be Arsene Wenger. I think the people, the board, people upstairs on Mount Olympus, so, you know what I mean? The fans feel don't listen to them. I think they've got to take some as well.
Some big decisions to be made at this football club.
Well, first of all, they've got to stick together, fans, players, the club. But at some point, Wenger gets all the stick, but I think the club needs to take responsibility as well of the direction that the whole thing's in. It's not Wenger's fault. You know, it's Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, I think the fans just want clarity. They want to understand and they want it to be transparent. Who's making the decisions? What is the remit for this manager, for this football club? Is it Champions League football, qualification, or is it to win the league, win Champions League? They need to know that.
We're out of time. We're not sure whether Arsene Wenger is. We shall see. That's it from us for the 7th consecutive season. Arsenal have gone out at the first knockout stage of the Champions League, but never quite like this. Lincoln will be licking their lips. Good night.